Exodus chapter 3. Exodus chapter 3.
What's up?
Hey man, I only thought that it was only appropriate that as we open up this new series that we begin with the book of Exodus.
Well,
And the reason why we're coming in that we're going to deal with the book of Exodus because Exodus brings us into a crucial moment in both of the life of Israel and also the life of Moses. And Exodus is fascinating to me because Exodus comes from the Greek, which literally means going out. Meaning God is trying to pull you out of some things. God is trying to pull you out of some bondage. However, now when we're talking about Exodus and the matter of going out, it's not just about how Israel comes out of Israelite oppression, but it's also how Israel came out of their prosperity. And that's a critical piece because I can only imagine a psychological dilemma of a group of people who were once prosperous and now found themselves extremely oppressed. And so the going out in Exodus is about how Israel goes out of prosperity and into oppression. And then out of oppression into deliverance. And then out of deliverance into the promised land, or better yet, everything that God has promised. And so now when we talk about Exodus today, it's very critical for us to understand it because if you're going to go out of something, then in Exodus you must go into something else. God is not just trying to pull you out to leave you stranded, but ultimately God is now pulling you out to put you into something better. Thus, when we talk about Exodus, then Exodus is not just about what you are going out of, but it is also about what you're getting ready to go into. And so it is the going and coming out in the relationship in Exodus now which undergirds our text, because as we deal with Exodus now, chapter 1 brings us to the end of Israelite oppression. Israel was very prosperous because of the relationship Joseph had with the Pharaoh. He sat at the right hand of the Pharaoh, and so because of all of his success, his people were also very successful. And so he brought great prosperity to Egypt. However, after the death of Joseph, a new Pharaoh arose. And now this new Pharaoh did not know Joseph. And so because he did not know Joseph, he became worried of Israelite prosperity. He began to panic because he said, these people are growing in numbers, therefore I need to oppress them. And isn't that something about people that it seems as though when you begin to succeed, people begin to worry? Because ultimately they are afraid you're going to do better than them. And so now this Pharaoh, now he's worried. And so he said in Exodus 1 chapter 9, watch this, he said, the Israelites have become far too numerous for us. He said, come, we must deal with them shrewdly, or they will become more numerous. And if war breaks out, they will join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country. And so he said he put slave masters over them to oppress them with forced labor. But now watch this, the oppression brought by this new Pharaoh was not enough. He said, I can't just oppress them, but I also would like for every male Hebrew boy to be killed. I want you to wipe out every male Hebrew child. And so he said to the Hebrew midwives, he said, when you are helping the Hebrew women doing childbirth, and if you see that baby is a boy, I would like for you to kill him. But he said, you can let the girls live. But now I find what I love about it is that the Hebrew midwives did not abide by it because they said we love God more than we love you. And so the Hebrew midwives did not take heed to what he said, and so it made him even more upset. So he said, well, how about this then? I want every boy that is born, I want every Hebrew boy that is born to be thrown into the Nile River, but still you can let every girl live. And so chapter 2 now takes us a little further now, because after this decree of the Pharaoh, now we're introduced to Moses. And we're introduced to the birth of Moses, and it is clear from chapter 2 that Moses has a unique calling on his life. Because out of all the Hebrew boys, Moses now is the only one who is worth mentioning. He's the only one who is worth actually dedicating some time in the scriptures to even discuss as it relates to the deliverance of Israel. Furthermore, we know Moses is significant because his parents were of priestly descent from the tribe of Levi. And so now when we talk about this, because of the decree of the Pharaoh to kill every male child, Moses' mother wanted to protect her child. And we find out, you know, any mama gonna do whatever they have to do to protect their children. And so his mother said, well, I need to protect my child. And I like it because his mother recognized he was a proper child, is what the text said. Meaning she recognized it was something unique about her son. And she said, because of how special my child is, I have to protect him. And you know, and that's interesting because, you know, that speaks to a fascinating dynamic of parenting, and that when you know your children are gifted, you better protect them. Because there's always an enemy lurking around trying to destroy the gifts that are within your children. And so because of this now, his mother placed him in a basket and sent him on down the Nile River. Because she said, I need to protect my child. And the interesting thing is that now when she sends him down the Nile River, now the Pharaoh's daughter just so happened to be down there bathing. She's bathing and she sees Moses, and she immediately recognized him to be a Hebrew boy. Now she had a choice. I can go and tell my father here's a Hebrew child and we can kill him. But now Pharaoh's daughter said, I feel sorry for the baby. And so now I need to protect him. And so she took Moses in to be her child. She took him in to be her child. However, when Moses became older, he began to encounter some issues. And I believe many of his issues because, number one, he didn't grow up around his biological mother. And then now one thing about Moses, he was always in search of his identity. And so he sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, and he got upset. Moses said, I need to do something about that. And so Moses went on ahead and he murdered that Egyptian. And when the Pharaoh heard of what Moses did, he went after him. He went after Moses, and so because of these issues, now Moses saw himself always in the place of having to flee. Moses became afraid, and he said, then I guess I need to run. And while Moses was trying to run from his issues, while he was now trying to run from his past, now in chapter 3, something unique happens, that while Moses is running, he encounters God.